welcome back guys to another video of the Snow White F32 channel. I've been having an issue for so long. If you guys remember, I changed my turbo because I had an internal leak. With the new turbo and everything, the leak did not go away. So now I'm thinking about it, I don't think my turbo was bad. But anyway, I did some research, and one of the other reasons why I would have an internal leak or the oil would go in airways would be because of my PCV valve. So B&W being B&W, you cannot just change the PCV valve, you have to change the whole valve cover, especially on my N20, N26. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. So stay tuned, we're gonna change the valve cover with the gaskets, and yeah, let's get straight to it. Alright guys, so to start, obviously you pop the hood. You take the engine cover off. Be careful if you have PWG or if you have one of the older cars. You might have two vacuum lines coming right here. I don't have it because I'm the newer model, but the older models do have it, so be careful you don't want to rip this off, because if one of them break, you're gonna have to change the whole cover, and in your case it's not cheap. And we're gonna start by taking this cover off right here. So to start, you don't need to screw it off. You have 1, 2, 3 bolts here and 3 on the other side. All you have to do is just spin it, quarter spin to release it. Then you're gonna grab this over here, pop it off. And you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. You're gonna take out this cover. This is held on by 1, 2, and 3 on this side, 10 millimeters, and on the other side we have 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one is right there. So for us to be able to take the cover off, we're gonna take this wire out of place. So in total you have 7 of the 10 millimeters. And after, or you take all the screws for the plastic cover right here, you're gonna start taking the brace bar off. So this one, you have the outer bolt of the brace bar, both sides is 16 millimeter. And then after you take the outer off, you're gonna go to the inner. If you see, sorry, it was raining, but there's 2 covers right here. You're gonna take these covers off, and you can put your hand from under and take it off. It's so much easier. If you look inside, there's 2 torque specs. So now that you took everything off, you'll be able to take the brace bar off and this plastic piece off. Now you have your whole engine exposed. So what we're gonna do next, first thing we can start doing, which is the easiest, we're gonna take our vacuum line off. Alright, then we're gonna start working with everything in our face. We're gonna start taking off the coils, and we need to take off our fuel rail and the high pressure fuel pump, and then we go from there. So first I'm gonna start with my coils. The coils are easy, just gonna pop up. As you push up, this connector should slide backwards. If it does not, then I'll push it back in. I will hold my hand tight here, squeeze as I'm popping up, because sometimes these nips, they would slide off. So take one, and for you to take this off, you just have to put your finger in here and pry hard till they come off. Alright, since we're already here, next thing we're gonna do is, if you guys see, the connector for the coils also connects with my injectors. I don't need to take off my injectors, but what I need to take off is I need to take off this connector from the middle, and I need to take off the injector connectors because they're gonna be on the way over here on this side. So let's take that off right now. So it's only 2 of them, there's one here and one here, and these both are gonna be 8 millimeter. Very easy to come off, they shouldn't be tight. And then you're gonna take the connector out, and so I don't lose it, I'm gonna screw it back in. Other side, same thing. Alright, now we're gonna disconnect the fuel injectors themselves. I'm gonna disconnect it, and then I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna show you guys what it is. It's a very tight area, and it looks like it needs to be done a certain way, but it's not. It's actually very simple. So what you need is you need a pick tool. Alright, so if you guys see, here's the injector. It's very deceptive. You feel like you wanna squeeze, but you just shouldn't squeeze. What you should do is go with your pick tool like I did, go inside here, and as you see, there's a hole right there. What you need to do is you need to put your pick tool right here, and you're gonna squeeze in and pull. And see this little like indentation or whatever you wanna call it, the little nipple on the connector. You're gonna push that in, and you're gonna put the connector out. It's very easy to do. So now all my harnesses are gonna be off. I'm gonna do the same thing in all of them. Now that all my connectors are off, as you can see, I can just put all the harnesses to the side, and I have nothing connecting on this side. Now the next step we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect the fuel rail. So first we're gonna take out the high pressure fuel pump cover. Comes off like that, and we're going to go get some shop towels or rags, and we're going to first, let's take off my auto sensors from brackets so they give us some space. And for us to access the fuel lines, we need to take these 2 bolts right here off. It's gonna be E7, which is the start tool, E7. 7. I'm gonna take these off so this cover can come off and we can access the rest of the fuel lines. Alright, if you guys can see, there's gonna be another one. There's gonna be right behind this, right here. Right here. Take that off. All I can think of is how am I gonna put this back on? Now the high pressure fuel pump, I'm going to start taking it off. These are open end wrenches. You want to be a 17mm open end wrench. What you need to do is you need to have a bunch of shop towels or rag. This is a high pressure fuel pump, so there's a lot of pressure of fuel in there. So you need to, as you're taking it off, you're going to put this on because you don't want any fuel to pop in your face. There will be fuel coming out of it. It is normal. Try to get as much of it as possible. You don't want any fuel to be laying around in your engine bay. And this doesn't come off. It just slides off like this. And it's going to be free to go. Now there's another one. There's two of them. One right here and one on this side. Do the same thing here. Now we're going to start taking the high pressure fuel pump off. That is going to be T30 is being held in by 2 bolts. So when you're taking this off, there's going to be a follower and there's going to be a spring under it. Don't take off one side the whole way. Take off some here, some here, some here, some here until the whole thing comes out. Alright, we're going to take this bracket off. The downpipe slides in like so, and there's going to be a connector right here for the high pressure fuel pump. We're going to take that off. All you have to do, as you saw, you have to click this out and then hold it firmly. And take it off as so, and then you're going to take it off like so. Alright, now since the high pressure fuel pump is off, we're going to take this connector off. You're going to squeeze from both sides. As you guys can see, it is not that easy, but it's doable. You pop it off and then it's going to be connected to this right here, which you need to just...
It can be one of the 2 things they do right now. A valve cover.
Okay, now next up, we're going to take the fuel rail guards off. These are E8. Now in the fuel rail, in the back here, there's going to be a connector. Take the pick tool, take it off as so. So this is the connection. You're going to take the pick tool, you're going to push this back, and then you're going to take the whole thing out. Put this back there. Now we're going to take a 14mm. That is going to be used for the fuel injectors. I would also, even though we already took out the pressure, but also recommend covering it with a rag just in case. Yo, you saw that? It's a very fuely job, guys. Alright, so this should be free to go. You can take it off. Hold it with a rag like this, just in case, even though it's not pressured, but there is fuel still in there. So, fuel rail off. This is not water, this is all fuel. This rag is probably worth like at least 10 bucks. Okay, so now for the fun part. It's probably gonna be like the hardest part in this job. Everything was pretty straightforward, simple, but the hardest part will be the vacuum pump, right? So the vacuum pump is located right there, right? So you have this connection that's going to it, which is easy to get out, but there's 3 bolts in this tight area, which with a regular ratchet is going to be pretty hard to get to. So what you need to buy or get or have or whatever, if you have something similar to it, is a low profile ratchet like so, right? It is going to be T40. There's going to be 3 bolts of T40 that you need to take off for the vacuum pump. Disclosure, be careful with the vacuum pump connector. The vacuum line is going to it. If you break it, it's not an easy job. It is not a fun job. It is not a cheap job. It's going to be expensive. Also, if you're gonna be doing that, make sure you're working with both hands. You don't want to drop any of the 3 bolts down in the back of the car between the firewall and your engine, because it's going to be hard to get. But yeah, so we're going to get to that. I know you're like 100% not going to see what I'm doing. You're going to get an overview, but just to let you know, there's going to be 2 on the sides and 1 in the bottom. So I'm going to get to that. Let's do it. Alright, so for the connection, as you can see, you have this round tab which you need to press on both sides. Hard and pull. Shouldn't be hard, it shouldn't be easy. If he's giving you a hard time, try different ways, but it shouldn't be that hard because you do have enough space to put both fingers in and press hard. Put that to the side, and then we're gonna work on the 3 bolts. Alright guys, so after a couple of hours of fighting with it, I noticed something. So I was right in the beginning. There's only 3 bolts and they're T40 each. So this is your vacuum pump. If you look in the back, just like this. So I was taking these off, and I got stuck in this one because it was stripped or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. You're supposed to take these off. 1, 2, and 3. They're deeper, right? So the difference in both, they look like this. This is the correct bolt head you need to take off. This is the wrong bolt head that you do not need to take off, or you should not take off. So now I'm gonna screw these back on. Alright guys, so you have 20 bolts of E10 you need to take off all around there. So alright, so as Mina recommended, we will take them out in order. So we're gonna start with number 20, and then we're gonna go 19, 18, 17. I'm gonna post you guys a picture of the order of them now and when I'm gonna put them on. Alright. Alright, I didn't do this step before, but I was supposed to do it. So if you guys can see, you have this right here. There's this clip. You're gonna click in on it. You're gonna actually click out. So you're gonna put it inside, and you're gonna pull. As you're pulling out, you'll take this harness off, and there's another one here, same way. Take this harness out of your way. One more thing that I forgot, you need to take this off. Alright, so now the vacuum pump is off and all of these bolts are off. There's 2 sensors here, camshaft sensors. You need to take these off, put them to the side, which are very simple. You don't need a lot of work for that. So make sure everything is out of the way. And your valve cover is off.
1 day later.
Welcome back guys for day 2. So yesterday I ran through an issue where I saw silicone around where my old valve cover was. So I had to call it quits yesterday. It was like 1 a.m. and there was nothing open. I need to get the tool to be able to take the silicone off. So yeah, I got it today. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna use and how I'm gonna do it. We can put everything back together. The process wasn't really hard. I'll give you a review about it after, but yeah, so far so good. As long as we can take the silicone off properly, we're chilling. So let's start it right now. Let's get it. Alright guys, so this is the tool that I'm going to use to take the silicone off. This is how it looks. Alright, shout out Mina for getting it from his job.
Gil.
Shout out him, and shout out Gil, whoever he's talking about, from Mid-Hudson Subaru, for giving me this. But yeah, I'm gonna show you guys how to use it. It's a rectangular head that's very sharp. What you have to do is you have to make it sit straight on your head and just drag everything off slowly. Alright, so for example, there's a silicone piece right there. What we can do, put it flat and drag forward, or we can put it in front of it and pull. So Guys, so what I'm gonna do to make it easy for myself to clean the bottom part, I'm gonna take off this heat shield that covers the turbo. And guys, so the turbo heat shield is at E10. So start E10. Alright, so first I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna wipe it down and then I'm gonna see if there's any silicone. I'm gonna try to take it off. Alright, so the parts that you need to focus on to clean are obviously the outside right here, all around. And then you need to focus on this right here, make sure it's clean. And these right here, make sure this is clean. Right, this is everything you need to focus on to make sure it's clean, because all of these are going to have gaskets on it. So I finished this part, now I'm going to start doing this part and this part. And obviously I don't need to remind you guys, but all of this is your internals. You don't want to drop anything in there, you don't want to scratch anything in there. Be very careful when you're working around it. Alright, so if you guys see what Mina's doing right now, he's running his finger literally on the whole edge. That's how you can feel if there's any silicone left that is very small, you can't see. Flatten it out. You want everything to be flush, so the gasket and the valve cover sit flushed on the head. Now what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna get, just to make sure everything is completely clean, I'm gonna get shop towels and I'm gonna put brake cleaner or throttle body cleaner, intake cleaner on it, and I'm gonna run it through the edge just to make sure everything is completely clean, and then we'll start installing everything. Alright guys, so now that we're done, let's get to installing. FCP Euro and a bunch of forums recommended to install dry. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I bought this, obviously, as you guys know, I buy a lot of stuff OE, which is the same as factory, just doesn't have the BMW stamp on it. So I'm going to put the link for this in the description. So this kit comes with the gasket already installed, these two gaskets installed, and you have also O-ring right here that's already installed. But what it doesn't come with, it doesn't come with this gasket or piece that goes in here, which I bought. Also, I'm gonna have it in the description below. I'm gonna have the whole kit. It also comes with this gasket installed, and obviously the valve cover comes with all the bolts with it because it doesn't come off. So now let's put it in together, and yeah, let's do it. So what we're doing right now is we're putting everything by hand first, making sure everything is threading in correctly. You definitely do not want to cross thread or damage the threads on your head because it's not fun. We're just threading everything just to make sure that it catches, and then after that we're gonna put everything down a little bit, and then I'm gonna post the map for like what is the sequence of the threads that you need to go in, and also we're gonna torque it. So let's do that. Alright guys, so now it's time to actually put everything down. I'm gonna put the map on the top right here so you guys can see it as I'm working, so you know what I'm doing. There is 20 bolts, put them back in. So ratchet everything down with a small ratchet so we don't put any extra torque on it, and then we're gonna torque everything to spec. So the issue I'm running with right now, guys, you see, obviously I went to 1, 2, 3, 4. When I went to 5, I'm running through the issue of I can't get it straight on, and the bolt is not. I think I didn't put it into the threads, so I'm just trying to make it straight, which is hard. Alright guys, so it is pretty obvious. This is why I couldn't put that in. This harness right here was under the valve cover, so just make sure there's nothing under the valve cover, because a lot of harnesses, a lot of wires that we took out, that we need to make sure that none of it is under the valve cover, none of it is in between the bolts, none, like not even a little edge, because that would make a difference. It wouldn't go in. Once I took it out, it was literally butter. I took everything off to take that off, so now I'm gonna start again with number 1. So let's get it. I'm gonna use the same trick I used it whenever I don't have a small ratchet to get in something, which I'm gonna hold it from here. I'm gonna spin. I'm not gonna hold it from here. I don't want any leverage, because that will put torque on it, which we don't want. Alright, so now since we tighten everything according to the map, we're gonna start torquing everything. So the torque spec for this is gonna be, some forums said 8, some forums said 9 Newton meters, which would translate to 6 or 7 pounds of torque. To be on the safe side, we're gonna go 7, because it is plastic, so that's why it's very low. So we're gonna run on each one. Once you hear the click, you move on to the next one. Let's start. Alright guys, so next step, we're gonna start by installing the seal. For this, we can put the sensor back in. The new seal didn't come with any hardware, so I'm gonna use the old hardware. It's just 2 bolts. They are E7 for the seal bolt. Alright, so while you're putting it on, it's gonna look like this. One side is gonna be male, one side is gonna be female. The male side should look up, so it's gonna install it like so. Alright guys, so you're gonna tighten this hand tight. Now we're gonna start from here, going all the way over there. So we're gonna install 2 cam sensors that we took off camera, but it's literally the same thing. 2 bolts here for the E7. There's E7 bolts. Make sure to have this, there's gonna be a gasket on it. Make sure that gasket stays straight, and you're gonna plug it in straight. If you try to go in from the bottom or the top, it's the gasket is gonna come off. So just make sure to hold it straight and go in straight. These are also going to be hand tight. You have another one over here. Some people might ask, how do you know which one is left, which one is right? The wire will not allow you to go to the other side one. And then the other thing from this side is you're gonna connect your PCV hose, which yours should be connected to your intake pipe, but mine is connected to my oil catch can. This I'm gonna be changing soon because it's leaking. The hoses are cracking and leaking, and this is leaking. So, alright, what we're doing next is we come here. We're gonna put this back. You gotta make sure all the wires are out of place. So you have this part right here, and similar part back here are gonna be for these two braces. You're gonna clip right down. This one. Two. Make sure, guys, you're not choking any wires. There is a spot, like an engravement in the actual valve cover for the high pressure fuel pump connector. Make sure that the wire is going through it. If not, it's going to be choking, and you don't want that because then it's going to start causing you electrical issues, and that is the worst to have. Now I have my injectors and coils connectors are going good from this side and from this side. Now we can start working on the vacuum pump because we're basically done. Let's do it. Alright, so as you guys remember, the vacuum pump, you have 1, 2, 3, and then the connector that goes in here. We're gonna put it in the back and we're gonna start tying everything down. Alright guys, so tip of the day, when you're taking stuff out, you better inspect it. So since I took out my vacuum pump, I gotta inspect it, and one way to do so is to hold the part that connects to the camshaft and spin it counterclockwise, and mine is full of oil. Alright, so now I cleaned my vacuum pump. I looked in the vacuum lines itself. There's no oil in them. That is caused by a bad PCV valve. So I'm gonna put the vacuum pump back in there. I'm gonna check on it. Maybe I'll give it like another 10 to 20,000 miles and I'll check on it and I'll see what's up with it. We're gonna put it back in right now. So if it is not sitting down flushed, it's probably because the part that we spun to check for oil is not lined up with the cam correctly. So you just need to spin it again counterclockwise. It's gonna slide in easy. You can put the 3 bolts in by hand and then you can tighten them. It can be hand tight, it's a very tight area, so. Alright guys, so as you know, I showed you the tool that I'm using for the vacuum pump. Another tool that would help is also this is very mini ratchet. So now since we have that done, we're gonna start installing our high pressure fuel pump. The kit that I'm gonna have it down in the description, comes with 2 bolts, 2 brand new bolts for the high pressure fuel pump. The high pressure fuel pump bolts is gonna be a T30. If you guys remember, we're gonna do one side, we're gonna keep going back and forth until it's tight. Alright, and then we're gonna put this connector back in here. Once you put it in, you're gonna click this inside, and then if you guys remember, we put this vacuum line up here. We're gonna put it down and we're gonna reinstall it back in the vacuum pump until you hear a click. Pull on it, it's not pulling, that's good. And we're gonna reinstall it back into here. Alright, now the vacuum is done, and we get down to the high pressure fuel pump. You're gonna make sure that all the wires is running behind the line that's coming from the low pressure fuel pump into the high pressure fuel pump, and you'll be able to do it in by hand. Should go in easy when I'm by hand. We'll tighten it in a little bit. For now, let's move on to, we're gonna connect the fuel rail. Alright guys, so make sure that this bracket right here, this holds both of the fuel lines together, the one that's coming from the low pressure fuel pump and the one that's coming from the fuel rail. So we're gonna install it like so in this spot, and install it like this, looking on the other side. And the fuel line that's coming from the low pressure fuel pump is going on the bottom, which is gonna make it sit perfectly here. Alright, now I'm gonna install the fuel rail, which is gonna go like so. It's gonna sit over each of the injectors. Gonna go on this bracket and then here, and each injector. Making sure that all these little things right here are in place in the correct spot, because you don't want any wiring going anywhere you don't need to. So I'm trying to figure that out right now. Alright guys, so for the high pressure fuel pump itself, you can use a 17 millimeter open end wrench, and you're gonna, once it stops, it stops. Alright, and then for the fuel injectors, it's gonna be a 14 millimeter. Also the same thing, once it stops, it stops. Alright, now the fuel injectors are in. We're going to put our connections. So if you see here, there's going to be one on the right side, one on the left side. You're going to trace it down, and that's how you know which one is for which. You're going to place it. You're going to see a little clip. You're going to place that clip outwards. You can hear it click in place. Once it clicks in place, that means you're doing good. Same thing on the other side. And then don't forget, you're going to reconnect this connector in the middle. You're gonna click it down, and then you have one more connector that's gonna go into the fuel rail. Make sure everything clicks in place. And now we gotta put back the ground for the fuel injectors. So we're going to undo the screw that we left inside. You're gonna have this side going up, that is gonna be going down, and it's gonna lock into the nut under. Alright, and that should be 8 millimeter. It is hand tight. Alright guys, so I forgot the bracket that holds the high pressure fuel pump. It's supposed to go from the bottom like that, but so if you do the same mistake as me, instead of taking the whole rail off, you can just take this part, and then the fuel pump should be free to come out. Alright, so now we're gonna install the bracket. The bracket sits like so. Alright guys, now we're gonna put the guards for the fuel rail. These are gonna be E10. I'm only using an electric ratchet because I want to go a little bit faster, but I stop. Once it's in, I stop, and I get it in by hand because it is plastic on plastic. You don't want to ruin anything. Alright, they're both hang tight. Now we're gonna put the cover for the high pressure fuel pump. We're gonna reinstall our coils. Alright, now that everything is connected, we're going to reconnect our bracket for the O2 sensors. It's gonna sit like this. You're gonna have one here, and remember there's one in the back here. So with the E7, you're gonna tighten these. Now we're gonna install our heat shield for the turbo. That is an E10 for the turbo heat shield. It sits in like this. The two closer to each other towards you, the one further away from them, away. If you have access to electric ratchet, it'll be easier to do that. Alright, heat shield is on. Now we just need to put the plastic cover here, the brace bar, and we're done. Alright, just like when we started, you're gonna put it backwards. There's gonna be 3 10 millimeters here and 4 10 millimeters there. And we're gonna put our brace bar. We have 2 60 millimeters, one that goes in here, the other that goes on the other side. So 60 millimeter for the outer brace bar bolts. And then we have 2 of the E20 in the center for the brace bar. Sorry guys, I keep switching between my GoPro and my phone because they both keep dying. But we ended by installing this right here. Very simple, just put the wire in there. These are pretty self-explanatory. You put the teeth in, and they're 10 millimeters. You need to just quarter spin until they lock and you're done. Put your cover on and you're all set and you're all done. So for hardness, I will give this like a 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. It's not impossible, it's just a lot to do. The hardest part was probably, I want to say, the vacuum pump and the O2 sensor bracket, just because there was stuff in the back you have to reach. Other than that, I just had to wait another day just because I had silicone on my head and I needed to take it off, and I just needed the tool for it. But yeah, it's a pretty straightforward job. It's just a lot to do. It's doable. I know you can do it. I really appreciate you guys. See a lot of people subscribing. I see a lot of people commenting. I'm happy that I'm doing content that attracts a lot of people and that interests a lot of people. We want to build this channel more, and I want to do stuff that you guys want as much as I want to do stuff that I gotta do to fix my car. I have 191,000 miles in this car. But yeah, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. You have to like, you have to subscribe, and you have to comment so we can keep doing this, or else I'm gonna go and you're never gonna see me again. But yeah, and as always,